Wow, that is just unbelievable video captured at the scene of a small plane crash in Los Angeles. Shows the heroism of police officers who pulled the injured pilot to safety seconds before a speeding train plowed through the wreckage. The quick actions of those responding officers saved the pilot's life. Joining us now, someone who spent 20 years on the LA police force, retired Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Sergeant, it's always good to see you because you tell it like it is. If any video shows what officers can face on any given day, that's it.
Absolutely. Listen, and so they did what they were trained to do. And I wish we would see more officers protecting and serving. We now know there was a 5-second delay between the time that train barreled through that intersection and took out that plane, and those officers grabbed that man to safety.
Trained to do what they did. How do you train to do that?
Well, listen, we practice for all sorts of variables, and it's really just human nature, right? You see someone in distress, you want to help them, and that's what cops do. This man was trapped in his airplane that had just crashed. They didn't know his injuries, and certainly they didn't even give thought to maybe they could be doing more harm than good. They just know they needed to get him out of that plane, because the train was coming.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder. They had to know that train was coming, right? I mean, that thing was barreling down the tracks. And I mean, we've talked about what it takes to be an officer sergeant and how hard it is. This is just an example of something that I can't even imagine being in that situation.
And I think the officers who were engaged in extricating this gentleman from that plane probably had tunnel vision. They were focused on him, getting him, disengaged from the plane and out of that seat. But there were others who were yelling, "Let's go, let's go, let's go," because they knew that peril was imminent.
Yeah, it looks like that officer on the right, and here's the pilot as they're pulling him out. The officer on the right at least was aware of the fact that that train was on its way. Boy, that video, man, I'll tell you, that's just like almost something you see in the movies. And just to get him out of there, you could see them running now. So they were aware at that point that that train was coming through. Wow. All right. I don't know if you saw this, Sergeant, but we wanted to get you on this Burger King shooting, which is just tragic in East Harlem. There was a 19-year-old working there. She was on the overnight shift and had been asked to actually be removed from that overnight shift because she didn't feel safe. And she, in the end, was shot and killed in a holdup early Sunday. And it was just a week before her new schedule would have gone into effect. On this topic, it dovetails into another issue, Sergeant, that we wanted to get you on, and that's the situation from the Manhattan DA, who's wanting to change the policy there in New York City and not really go after low-level crimes or nonviolent crimes or certain crimes that many are now pushing back on. And that DA is saying, I don't understand the pushback I'm getting. Is there a disconnect here?
Well, I think there's a little bit of misinformation, and I think everybody needs to just take a step back, take a deep breath, because this new prosecutor has said that this doesn't include violent, serious crimes. He's talking about having something that's equitable and fair across the board. And so while crimes like burglaries that don't involve guns are something that he may low grade to a misdemeanor as opposed to a felony, but a violent crime like that robbery that we just saw, there will be no changes in that. And so I think there's a lot of, everybody's posturing over there. You got a new commissioner, you got a new prosecutor, and I think they just need to sit down and have an honest, frank conversation about what they all want, which is fairness, equitable treatment of not only the citizens, but to make sure that their officers are safe in the discharge of their duties.
The new commissioner has spoken out and is not on board with this new policy. Is that problematic, do you think, Sergeant?
Well, she's not on board with some of the policies, and so they're going to have to find a happy medium. Listen, she's got 30-some thousand officers she needs to please, and so I'm not surprised that she wouldn't come out and speak against this, but what ultimately happens, I think, is they will find some place to meet in the middle and find common ground.
Cities are trying this, Sergeant, including where you are there in L.A. Baltimore, I know, has tried it. The articles I've read seem to indicate that the jury is out on it. Do you think it will work?
Well, listen, I mean, let's be frank. We do know that there are officers who abuse their authority, and that some of the things that this prosecutor Bragg is talking about not enforcing are resisting arrest charges. And how many times have we seen a police officer stop somebody who's not compliant, who won't come here, escalate a use of force, and then wind up arresting the person for resisting, only to find out later the DA dismisses it because it's insufficient evidence to support that. And so I think there's room for common ground. I think cooler heads need to prevail. And I think at the end of the day, everybody will come away with something they can live with.
All right, retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you.
On balance.